Okay, good afternoon, Friday, October 4th. Welcome to October, everybody. We are having some lovely fall weather. I am just home from my trip to Edmonton for work. So Family Community Support Services. It was our last board meeting before our annual conference in November. So just wrapping up some there, talking about resolutions that are coming, talking about what happened at Alberta municipalities. So doing that. So happy to be home, heading out to the mayor's celebration for the arts tonight. Super duper looking forward to that. Doing a story time reading at the library tomorrow. Heading out hiking with kids and friends. So looking forward to that this weekend, and doing an early Thanksgiving with my family. So that's really great. So looking forward to the weekend and the beautiful weather. But I want to address the mailbox because some of you may have received this lovely mailer. I could have offered them a better photo. I have much better photos of me. Spencer, I love this photo of Spencer because it's almost like he still looks lovely here. It's like you could not get a bad photo of this man if you tried, because he has the kindest heart. And of course, centering the angry black man in the middle. What a trope. What a trope. So yeah. Welcome to more than a year out from the election. Smear campaign material. Who's behind it? Who knows? Billboards popped up. Those got taken down because they were in contravention of the temporary sign bylaw. I've seen digital billboards go up, and then this in my mailbox today. And I got home. So I actually have not read this yet. I saw a quick snapshot from a friend who was like, "Did you know?" And I was like, "I'm busy." So I'm just going to go through these and just riff off of what they said. And offer, I'm not here to counter it but I just want to sort of talk about what's here. So, when the city removed fireworks for the 2023 Canada Day celebrations, the outcry was predictable. Penner, however, went to Twitter and stated for that the city to bring back fireworks, and this was specific at this location, would be actively anti-racist, and to have I didn't actually say so they've taken that statement out of context, and to have fireworks would be upholding colonialism and racism. So did I say those things? Yes. Should I have said those things there? Probably not. Why did I say those things? Because I am deeply committed to truth and reconciliation. And when groups were concerned about ashes raining down on the steps of the residential school memorial site, we took some action as an administration. Our administration took action. So I'm deeply committed to truth and reconciliation. And what I'm so proud to say is that we continue to advance on that. We have a permanent site for truth and reconciliation that is going to be going up at the Confluence. We are funding it. We are moving forward with it. And just on the 23rd of September, we sat in circle with elders as a council to have very deep and meaningful conversations about the work around truth and reconciliation. I'm so proud that Satina is our neighbor. I had an opportunity to sit down with the Stoney Chiefs a few weeks ago as well. And these are really important relationships that we are building as a city. They are watching what we are doing. And so how we respond is really, really important as elected officials, and how we respond as a city is really important for us as a whole. So happy to be doing work on truth and reconciliation. Okay, next one. If you are wondering what Councillor Penner was doing to earn $120,000 a year income while taxpayers struggled to get by, in 2022, Councillor Penner submitted a motion to pick an official bird for Calgary. Whoop, whoop, the chickadee. If you think it was a joke, you would be mistaken. You're right. I did do that. I spent less than 5 hours of my life on this. I probably work over 1,000 hours a year. So just run the math, however you want to do 5 hours over this. I also brought it forward because it was championing something citizens brought forward to me, to recognize the importance of biodiversity in our city and the engagement that resulted in that. So we engaged students across schools. We had submissions on this, and then votes, and we engaged all kinds of people, groups, ages. It was an amazing learning opportunity for people to learn about the bird species in our city and what we're doing for biodiversity. It was the highest engagement that we have had to date. It might have been Trump by then, but that date, so higher than the Olympics. So am I happy that I got people exploring biodiversity in our city? Absolutely. Am I going to continue to champion biodiversity? Absolutely. So happy to be doing this work. Happy to. Okay. I was endorsed by Calgary's Future. True. A PAC that was funded by QP 37 and 38. So those are our, so that's like our civic employees. So I was endorsed by essentially civic employees as being responsible, I guess, or having ideas that would help ensure that people had good paying jobs and had well-paying jobs within the city of Calgary. I'm happy to pay people. I think people should be paid their worth. And that they contributed $1.7 million to help promote candidates. Yes, they used funds to run advertisements. Did I receive any of that directly? And no doubt, she will once again be backed by this union-funded PAC. Unions are not horrible at all. If you look at what workers and unions are doing across Canada, across the States, they're getting people fair wages. If we want to combat the price of living, we need to pay people fair wages. I will stand behind paying people fair wages day in and day out. If we want to combat cost of living, we pay people. That's how we do it. And if you want your garbage collected, and if you don't want people striking, like we saw what the rail strike did, we saw what the port strike did, wages have not kept pace with inflation. We see that data all the time. So if our staff are saying, hey, here's a lady who's going to make sure we get paid well so that we are not hurting, bring it. I will support them. I will support paying people. Calgarians are being taxed on everything. When the city implemented the 15 cent per bag fee, the anger spilled over. Councillor retreated, but not Councillor Penner. She voted to keep the fee and then said, there are those who are enraged and outraged because that's what someone told them to be. That's true. There were mailers just like this one that went out that told people to be angry and mail your councillor that you're angry. So that's not a lie. You should be happy to be taxed. So that's what they said that I'm thinking is you should be happy to be taxed. Pollution has a price. So controversy about carbon tax, we can have a fulsome debate about that if we want to, pros and cons. We have seen, right, pay for use work in reducing things. Here's the thing. I was actually going to, and you can go way back because I wrote about this. I've actually wrote about all of these topics. Most of these things are on my website. You can go. So I was going to vote to repeal. It was honestly, it was the politically easiest thing to do. Was it the policy responsible thing to do? No. Was it the politically easy thing to do? Yes. There was a young man who came out and speak. He was in grade 8. And he came out and spoke about the need for this. And then we had a couple scientists come out and speak as well. But it was actually that young man. He came out and spoke. And I said, hey, that's a big step. And I had a kid in grade 8 at exactly that same time. And I was just like, I need to send a signal to this kid that someone is standing up for his view, for his generation. So that's why I voted that way. And because frankly, I didn't actually want to repeal it. I wanted to change some things, but overall, the policy had some really strong foundations and we needed to tweak some things, but we never got to that. So, but ultimately, all people deserve representation. And that young man at that time was so brilliant. And I loved my favorite line. I will never, never forget it is he was talking about to-go cups from Starbucks, whatever. And he just called them adult sippy cups. And I just died laughing because I was like, that is so true. They are actually adult sippy cups because I remember sippy cups from my kids. Okay. Councillor Petter voted with the mayor. I would just we all vote independently. It is electronic. We all vote at the same time. Whatever comes, friends. Councillor Penner voted with the mayor. Also, I clearly have my own opinions. Have had my own opinions. If you talk to anyone in my family, if you talk to any of my friends, I have my own opinions. Never been short on them. Councillor Penner voted with the mayor to not give Calgarians. My dad was watching for a while, and I'm wondering if he's still watching, and he probably would be whoop, nodding along there. Councillor Penner voted with the mayor to not give Calgarians the opportunity to vote in a plebiscite on the issue of blanket rezoning. You're right, I totally didn't. Standalone plebiscite, $5 million. $5 million. Probably not the greatest use of money. $5 million when there are so many other ways to get a hold of us. And I'm going to be honest, citizen sentiment is only one data point. When we're looking at data and metrics, citizen sentiment is one data point that we have to consider. We have to consider it. We have to consider lots of other things when we're making decisions. A plebiscite at an election, so kicking it till 2025. So like in the middle of a housing crisis, you do not delay action. So I was like not going to kick the can down the road to 2025 to take a vote, minimum $1 million on a non-binding plebiscite. So like from a responsibility standpoint around like getting input from citizens, like in a binary yes, no decision on something, when the conversation is so much more nuanced, not a big fan of it. It's lazy democracy. It's lazy democracy. I will stand by that too. They'll probably, on the next flyer, they'll probably say plebiscites are lazy democracy and be mad at me about that. Phil, I'm just giving them more fodder. Fill your boots, friends. I then voted in favor of this massive policy change. There was clear opposition from community associations and citizens, but your voice did not matter. That's not true. Your voices did matter, and that's why the ton of amendments came forward. A ton of amendments to address the issues. Do we address all the issues? No. But the concerns, we addressed as many of them as we could. And we're not done. Things are still changing. Things are still in flux, but there's still room. But yeah, when you're looking at all the data points around rezoning, it made sense. And again, totally have addressed this, debated it. You can go back and watch council videos. You can read the statements on my website. I won't go super deep into it. So yeah. Councillor Penner voted with Mayor Gondek. So again, here it is like, again, you can't think for yourself. You just do whatever the mayor does. I'll say she's a very smart lady. I'm also a very smart lady. To increase your property tax bill to 2024 to 7.8%. Sure did. When asked by the media why, this is how they quoted me. This budget is asking those who have a bit more to help those who have a little bit less. Yes, I am asking those who have a little bit more to help those who have a little bit less. A good chunk of the budget and those increases were to ensure and protect social services, to protect low transit fares, to protect kids under 12 riding transit free, to protect also like massive increase in transit safety funding that came out of that budget. We are at a point of reckoning, and it's not just Calgary. This is all municipalities across the province. As I've been talking to my colleagues across this province, the gap right now when population and inflation growth soars and the number of services we have to deliver is through the roof. And we had years of austerity, and we are behind. We are so behind. And so when you see our roads crumbling, it is because we failed to invest for years. And now, in order to get them back up to the standard that you want, it's going to cost more in taxes now than it would have then. So we are, in short, we got stuck with like kind of years of like minimal or zero tax increases. And now it's all catching up and you are all noticing. And now you're saying, please do something. And we're saying, here's the price tag. I talked about the budget. And I can tell you that this budget going into this year is equally hard and challenging. And we know there's a tax increase coming, and this is coming across all municipalities as far as I know and from what I'm talking about. And so it is hard, but and so I'm hoping through some of our messaging, we're talking about what that gap is and approving sprawl. And again, I know we have to go around our outer edges. But the rate of sprawl that we approved in years past and how it's coming to reckon to us right now, and the cost to deliver services out there and to build infrastructure out there like libraries and fire stations and to plow those roads. In our upcoming budget, we have one application alone. So yeah, most capital, not all capital, gets paid by levies. The implication cost for that build out when it finally gets built out is $50 million a year. That's not ever. There's no way that all of those homes, and we know this, those homes will not be covered by tax. It won't be net neutral, the taxes on those homes. So $50 million a year is probably at about a 2% tax increase. So growth on the outer edges of our city is causing us a tax increase. Cycle that back to rezoning. We don't want tax increases. The best place to put people is where services already exist, where we don't have to add more kilometers of road. So many Calgarians are struggling to get by. 100%. The cuts that were proposed by some of my colleagues, and you can go back and watch this, in budgets would have added more to their monthly bills than the tax increase. So the cost of transit, there's a couple other costs that were like in there, would have added more to their monthly bills than the tax increase that would be spread across everybody. So when you actually go back and do the math, the 7.8% tax increase was better for people's pocketbooks than all of the cuts some of my colleagues were proposing. And so, like, you have to understand the number, and you have to understand what was proposed, and you have to go back and watch budget and go back and watch the debate. And we made some super significant investments in that budget that I'm really, really proud of, and I will stand behind every single day. I love this job. I love this job. I'm sure more of this will come over the next year, and I'll just talk about it. But I'll say, a lot of this information is on my website. So it's like courtneypenner.ca. We've been posting about it on social. I talk about it in my 15-minute Fridays. The information is out there. You can go back and watch council meetings and see my debate, see where I question. I stand behind all of these things that I did happily and would do it all over again. So happy Friday, everybody. Feeling a little feisty, and I'm ready to go to a party tonight and have so much fun. The after party is the where it's at. And so I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Talk to you later.